Hello, this is Scott with War Eagle River. Today we're going to show you how to put in an aftermarket light kit in a slotted F1 GTR. We're going to be using a Z-Machine light kit. Comes fully wired with a capacitor on the circuit board so the lights stay on even if you de-slot. Has xenon LED headlights and red LED tail lights. The tools we're going to be needing today are a hot glue gun with a black mini glue stick. We'll need our soldering iron and a Dremel. The kit comes with a complete set of instructions. It's very elementary, easy to wire in. Here's our light kit. You can see the circuit board with our lead wires with quick disconnects. Here's our headlights with the xenon LEDs and our tail lights with the red LEDs. A good rule of thumb before installing this light kit is to go ahead and hook up some leads. Ensure that the lights are working properly. We'll leave those hooked up for about a minute just to see if the capacitor is going to hold a charge. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves and install the light kit and then find out that they don't work or the capacitor is not holding a charge. Okay, we'll disconnect the lead and we'll see if the lights stay on. And as you can tell, they do. So we know that the capacitor is holding a charge and all four lights are working. Now we can go ahead and install them in the car. The first thing I like to do is make sure that I have a place that I can mount this circuit board so my wires reach all the way around wherever I need to have them go, and this is a very good spot right here. So what I'll do, I'll put a small dab of hot glue and I'll mount the circuit board right there. And I only put a small little dab there. One thing I want to check for is I want to make sure that I have clearance when I put the body back on. And I do. It lays in nice and flat, no issues. Next thing I want to do is I want to get in here and I want to take off these little tabs right here on the headlights and pull this headlight housing out. I'll use the Dremel for that. Now that should just pop right out, as you see. And there's the headlights. So one thing that I like to do with these, it makes it a lot easier, is this piece of glass right here. It should just come right out. And that mounts back into the car. So here's our headlights. Now one of the easiest things to do with this is to go ahead and just pop out one of these lights. Should come right out. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and drill this out just a little bit more than it is so we have enough room to fit the LED in there. That's it. We just opened it up just a little bit. Clean the slag out of there. We don't have anything running around in there. As you can see, we just took out one bulb. Okay, now we have that out. We've opened up the hole where we're going to put our headlight. We're actually going to put our headlight on the outside. You have your choice. And we're going to go ahead and mount the lens back on. So the little tabs on the back, we're just going to take a small little dab of CA and put it right there on that tab. One on the other tab. And what that's going to do is that's going to keep our headlight bezel, our headlight lens on the bezel. So there we have that. And we'll go ahead and we'll snap that whole unit back in. And again, just a tiny little dab of CA on the tabs. That'll keep that from moving around. And we'll do the same to the other side. As you can see, our headlight bezels are back in. We have our two little holes drilled on the outside for our LEDs to go in. We were very careful not to get any of the CA glue on the lens because they will fog out on you. So we're very careful of that. Okay, on your LED lights here, you have the wire in, and then on the other side is where the actual light is. So you have to be careful putting that in, that you make sure that you have the wire side out. What I like to do is get it right into the hole where it's going to go, and then turn it over. Make sure that I can see the whole LED inside of the lens. And once you have the wire set where you're going to have it go in, go ahead and install the light in the hole that you drilled. Put a little dab of hot glue on the wire to secure it. Don't worry about the cobwebs. Let those dry before you pull them off. I'll take just a little flathead screwdriver and just kind of push down on that hot glue a little bit. And there's one end. So we'll manipulate the wire. We'll get this one set. We'll put a little dab of hot glue right on the wire. Just a small dab. Let that set for a couple seconds. That way we have our lights in the holes, right where they need to be. Now at this point I have them in, have them secure. I'll just take a little bit of the hot glue and fill in around that very slowly. Then just kind of take a flathead screwdriver and just kind of flatten that out. Now what I like to do is hook my leads back up. And I can check the lights, make sure I don't have any bleeding of light coming through anywhere on the inside. Make sure I'm lined up pretty good on the outside. They look pretty good. Now we can move to the backs. Now it's a good idea to put power to these LED tail lights because you can't really see the wires until you plug them in. But there's a noticeable difference. One side is very bright and the other side of the light isn't. So you know you want the bright side facing out. So what we're going to do is take our Dremel and do about the same thing that we did on the front, except we're not going to pull out the panel. We're just going to drill a small hole right here. We've drilled just a small hole right here, and that's where one of our LEDs for the tail light is going to go. Again, you can manipulate the wires how you see fit. As I have it in the spot where I'm getting good lighting out of both the back tail lights. I'll go ahead and put a small dab of black hot glue right over top of that. Again, flattening it out a little bit with the flathead screwdriver. Okay, now I want to hook my leads back up. I want to look for any bleeding. And as you can see, there's some bleeding coming out around the backs of the lenses here. So in order to get the most brightness out of these, I'll take a little bit of hot glue and I'm just going to go along that seam. Try to eliminate some of that bleeding. Okay, we've eliminated all the bleeding inside. We have nice tail lights. We have headlights. Now we can disconnect our leads. And we're going to secure our wires. We'll get them all nice and neat. And then we're just going to put a little small dab of hot glue right across these to secure them. And we'll put another small dab right up here on the interior. Just neatens them up and keeps the wires from flopping around any. Don't worry about the cobwebs. Let the cobwebs dry. It's a lot easier to break them off when they're dry. If you try pulling the cobwebs off while the hot glue is still wet, you'll just cause more cobwebs. And we'll do the same to the front. And let's check for fitment one more time. Perfect. Everything's laying flat, nothing's hung up. Rear tire spin. Front tire spin. Now we can hook our leads up to the motor. Some folks like to run them right into the guide so they can just quick release them. I like to hook them right to the motor leads. So what I'll do is I'll open the quick release. Now, knowing that the red is positive and goes to this braid, I have to attach the red to this terminal. The black is negative, will go to this terminal. All soldered in. Let's check one more time. We'll hook up our leads to our braid. Nothing. The reason being is we don't have our quick disconnect hooked up properly. We don't have our red lead to the red lead, so we'll have to turn that over. The good thing about it is this circuit board has a little mini circuit breaker in it, so it will not send power to the lights. We'll turn that over. Hook our leads up one more time. And we have full lights and tail lights. We'll let that run for a few seconds, make sure that our capacitor is going to hold a charge. Okay, we're on the track. This is the way we run our night races. We have blue LED lights overhead, and we can see the cars and see the lights fine. Let's give her a few laps. Okay, so on track, lights are nice and bright, headlights stay on, tail lights stay on. Headlights will fade after about a minute. Tail lights, I've seen those stay on for up to 10 minutes. Anyhow, pretty cool, easy install. That's the Z Machine lights, and you can get those at Cloverleaf Racing.